PostgreSQL, ScyllaDB, and RocksDB are rewriting their I/O layers to replace epoll with something called I/O gearing, and one of them is seeing 3 times the throughput. At 100,000 connections, epoll servers burn 15 to 25% of CPU time just making system calls. Every epoll operation hits the kernel. Epoll control to register, epoll wait to block, then read or write to actually move bytes. 3 kernel crossings for 1 piece of work. The syscall overhead alone becomes the bottleneck when connection count explodes. Here's what epoll makes you do. Register the file descriptor with epoll control. Block with epoll, wait until the kernel tells you it's ready. Then make another syscall to actually read the data. And it gets worse. The kernel tells you when I/O is possible, not when it's done. You still have to poll in a loop. A poll is a notification system, not an I/O system. Enter I/O Sears scoring. Introduced in Linux kernel 5.1 in March 2019 by Jens Axbo, then at Facebook. 16 kilobytes of shared memory. 0 syscalls in poll mode. 1 interface for network and disk. The breakthrough is a pair of ring buffers and shared memory, a submission queue where your app writes IIO requests, and a completion queue where the kernel writes results. No copying, no syscall per operation. The buffers live in memory mapped between user space and kernel. Here's the internal structure. Head and tail pointers track producer and consumer positions. A ring mask for wrapping indices. The index calculation uses bitwise masking, tail and ring mask. Buffer ring entries must be a power of 2. If the CQ size isn't a power of 2, it gets rounded up. This is critical for the masking operation used to wrap indices around the circular buffer. The workflow has 4 stages. Setup, call IO gearing, set up and map the rings into shared memory. Submit, fill the submission queue with entries. Process, 1 syscall submits the entire batch. Complete, kernel posts results, your app reaps them. In practice, it looks like this. Get 8 submission queue entries with IO, gearing, get SQE. Prep them for reads with IO, gearing, prep read. Set user data for context. Then IO, gearing, submit, sends all 8 with a single syscall. The result? IO, gearing with SQ poll, mode cuts. Syscall count by 80% in Echo server benchmarks. Measured P to 99 latency improvements land between 20 and 40%. Here's the fundamental difference. epoll tells you when a syscall is ready to be called. IO gearing does the syscall for you and tells you when it's done. The kernel will actually do the syscall for you, instead of just notifying you when the syscall is ready to be done. SQ poll takes it further. With SEQ poll, a kernel thread polls the submission queue continuously. Your application issues 0 syscalls at all. The cost? 1 dedicated CPU core running that polling thread. The performance gains are real. PostgreSQL 18 with IO gearing. 2 to 3 times faster inserts for 100 million rows compared to Postgres 17. ScyllaDB's buffer manager with SQ poll saw throughput increase by 32% to 546,000 transactions per second. Here's what the syscall trace looks like. IO forge gearing, enter with to submit equals 32 submits a batch. Then IO gearing. Enter with to submit 0 and mine complete 1 reaps results. 2 calls, 32 operations. The database world is moving. PostgreSQL 18, ScyllaDB, RocksDB, Tiger Beetle, Ceph, Samba, Netty, QEMU, and Bun all ship with IO gearing support. Enabling it in Postgres is a 1-line config change. Set IO $method to IO gearing in postgresql.conf. The current default as of beta 1 is still worker mode, not IO gearing. Now the honest part. IO gearing is not always faster than epoll. For ping-pong workloads with small random IO gearing dominates. For streaming mode with large sequential reads, epoll can be faster. Developer testing showed all tests pointed towards epoll being faster for simple TCP echo server echoing small chunks of data for 40 to 400 clients. Here's why. With IO gearing, the backend process does the IO, the checksumming, and the mem CPI itself. With worker mode, those CPU costs are distributed across a pool of worker processes. For bandwidth-heavy sequential scans, the CPU bottleneck is checksumming and memcpy, not syscalls. The seemingly old default worker method can significantly outperform I/O urine for high-bandwidth tasks. You can see the worker processes in the process list. Postgres spawns dedicated I/O workers, visible as separate processes. They spread the CPU load across cores. Which brings us to the security problem. In 2022, Google reported that 60% of kernel exploits submitted to their bug bounty targeted I/O urine. 60%. CVE 20.21.41.073. Improper memory handling leading to local privilege escalation. CVE 2023-2598. Out-of-bounds access. CVE 2024-0582. Use after free. Patched in the stable kernel in December 2023, but exploited in Ubuntu due to a 2-month patch delay until March 2024. Researchers built a proof-of-concept rootkit called Curing that exploits I/O gearing to execute arbitrary code without syscall hooks. Falco and Tetragon, runtime security tools, didn't catch it. Neither did commercial tools. I/O day. Uring's complexity has led to numerous bugs. Its ability to sidestep conventional monitoring methods creates the primary risk. It is complex and has had a significant history of security vulnerabilities since introduction. There's an operational risk too. Completion queue overflow. If your app can't reap results fast enough, the C queue overflows. Unless the kernel runs out of memory, entries aren't dropped. But the overflow handler is a much slower path. It is a much slower completion path and will slow down request processing. If the C queue ring overflows, the ring enters a C queue ring overflow state indicated by the I/O ring queue C overflows flag. You can see it in the ring flags field. This is the slow path you want to avoid. An sqpoll's dedicated polling burns a full CPU core. On a 32-core server, losing 1 core is 3% overhead. On a 4-core cloud instance, you just lost 25% of your compute. The downside is that if there is no data, the process will perform many useless polls. Both IOPoll and SQpoll can regress latency-sensitive mixed workloads or steal cores from your app if enabled blindly. Kernel version matters. I/O-but urine behavior varies significantly across versions. Features land in 6.1 that don't exist in 5.15 LTS. Backports differ by vendor. At least for the kernel, a kernel version check does not suffice as various vendors do backport features to older kernels. This creates a design debate in PostgreSQL. The worker method uses a pool of I/O worker processes separate from the backend. The worker process performs all 3 steps: I/O, checksum, and mmcpi. Because the system can run multiple backend processes and multiple I/O workers concurrently, the CPU cost of high bandwidth checksumming and copying is distributed across the shared worker pool. PostgreSQL 18 defaults to worker mode, not I/O urine, despite I/O urine being newer and faster for some workloads. There are 3 possible settings for I/O method. The reason? For sequential scans, distributing CPU work beats kernel-level I/O optimization. By default, the CQ ring will have twice the number of entries as specified for the SQ ring. This asymmetry handles bursty completion patterns, where many I/O ops finish at once. So when does I/O urine actually win? High-concurrency random I/O on NVMe SSDs with millions of IOPS capability. Network-bound workloads with 10 gigabit per second or faster NICs. Applications that can batch operations effectively. And when to avoid it? Sequential scan workloads where you should use PostgreSQL worker mode instead. Security-sensitive environments like Google and Chrome OS that disable it entirely. Kernel versions below 6.1 that are missing critical features. The timeline shows rapid evolution. Development began in 2018 when Jens Axbo started working on a new I/O interface at Facebook. Kernel 5.1 shipped in March 2019. By January 2020, LWN documented rapid growth of features. May 2020, ScyllaDB published how I/O urine will revolutionize programming in Linux. Here's the full picture across 6 dimensions. Performance, I/O, urine wins on throughput. Latency, I/O, urine wins with SQpoll. Security, epoll wins, I/O, urine has a massive attack surface. Complexity. Epoll is simple, I/O urine is complex. Portability, epoll is stable, I/O urine varies by kernel. CPU efficiency depends on workload. Quick recap. I/O urine uses shared memory ring buffers to batch I/O and eliminate per-operation syscalls. SQPoll can achieve 0 syscalls at the cost of 1 CPU core. Security vulnerabilities are real. 60% of 2022 kernel exploits. CQ overflow penalties punish misconfiguration, and workload sensitivity means it's not a drop-in replacement for epoll. So when should you use it? High-concurrency random I/O on NVMe with millions of IOPS. Kernel 6.1 or later with all the async, accept, and buffer ring features. Teams with kernel upgrade discipline and security patching processes. And enough CPU cores that dedicating one to SQPoll doesn't starve your application. The payoff is real. 2 to 3 times the throughput for the right workload. But it comes with a security tax, a complexity tax, and a kernel version tax. Teams choosing I/O Wuring must accept kernel upgrade discipline and potential security monitoring blind spots. Choose wisely. That's I/O Wuring. Now go overflow some completion queues. Responsibly